Depression and neuromodulation. Around 16 million adults are affected by depression in the US. Some typical symptoms of depression can include loss of interest, sleeping and concentration problems, and suicidal thoughts. Not everybody experiences depression in the same way, but family and those close to those with depression can often experience adverse effects as well. The economic burden of depression can often include treatment costs, low work productivity, and absences. Some other costs of depression can also include marital disruption, high risk of teen pregnancy, low educational attainment, early mortality, and elevated onset of chronic physical diseases.
Now, there are a variety of parts of the brain that are affected by depression. Some of the main ones include the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, both of which decrease in size when a person has depression. Neurons in the hippocampus tend to have slower production as well. Another effect is that the amygdala tends to have higher amounts of activity when the brain is in stress. Now, there are a variety of neurotransmitters that are associated with depression that have a variety of effects on the brain. These are outlined here on this slide. So having discussed some of the main aspects of depression, we can now begin to address some of the treatments available to treat depression. One of the main ones that we'll be discussing today is neuromodulation. Neuromodulation is a process where you try to alter nerve activity through targeted delivery of a stimulus via electrical or chemical means to specific neurological sites to try and modulate neural pathway behavior. And the reason that it is so important is that neuromodulation can provide a viable alternative to long-term drug therapy and greatly improve the lives of people that it affects.
Neuromodulation is important in the treatment of depression because it is more focused and effective than typical drug treatments. Here are some FDA-approved neuromodulation methods for treating depression. These include electroconvulsive therapy, repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, vagus nerve stimulation, and deep brain stimulation. There are also new techniques for understanding and treating depression. These include cranial electrotherapy stimulation, biofeedback, and the WOBOT. Several companies in Minnesota are involved in neuromodulation and the treatment of depression. These include Medtronic, Surtech, and Boston Scientific. 10 to 30% of patients with major depression do not respond to treatment by antidepressants, or they only show a partial response. So there are still leaps that need to be made in the treatment of depression. Thank you for listening.